right? Bitcoin is around 73K, and we're at support. So from here, we could bounce up. So the top of the range is roughly around 83K. So support's around 73K. Top of the range is 83K. It's possible we bounce and we start heading back up to the top of the range. If we do bounce here from 73K, I don't think we're going to make it to the top because the momentum's not here. The volume is very, very low, and the sentiment's changing. The sentiment is changing to a very bearish sentiment. Um, all of this was predicted. We've been right on this channel for I would say for most of the calls are correct. And, we'll take that. We'll take it. It's true. It's actually true. So it's a good thing. We're not always going to be right in crypto. It's very risky, and you can lose all of your money. So don't put money in here that you cannot afford to lose. This is not just a saying that people say for no reason. Crypto is volatile. Now, for those that are patient and are able to wait for a long time and are putting money that they're not afraid to lose in here, this is not a good this is not a bad time. This is not a bad time to slowly DCA with just a little bit. I would say, with like 10% of your portfolio, not really, the majority of your portfolio, because if we break here, if we break 73K, we could see a cascade of red candles flowing down like a waterfall. And that would be when I start to get excited or start to get enthusiastic, I think is a better word, a little bit more enthusiastic about putting a greater percentage of the portfolio into the market. I still am anticipating more downside, and I still am expecting some kind of black swan event or something to justify this waterfall that I think is going to happen. Now, if and when the waterfall happens with the red candles, we would be heading towards 60K, 50, mid 50s. I think these are all possibilities heading into the summer. And I look at those possibilities as good DCA opportunities to the stronger altcoins that are going to perform better in a bull market over the next 2 years. And I'm paying attention to the alts. If you notice ETH versus Bitcoin, the ETH dominance, you'll see that ETH is weak. Altcoins are weak to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance is somewhere close to 6%, right around there. And it's not terrible. I won't say it's completely terrible, but I I think we're at a point now where the Bitcoin dominance is about to increase. We're also at a point where if you look at USD dominance is about to skyrocket if the cycle repeats. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. The cycle's been repeating, right? For the past 3 cycles, it's the fourth cycle. It's the same pattern. So if we're in the same pattern, what's supposed to happen is that ETH dominance is supposed to fall, that USDT dominance is supposed to increase, and that the altcoins are supposed to get devastated. There are many a great project that are no longer working right now. A lot of teams have left because they're not making money and they didn't have enough money to keep the project running. So why are they going to keep working and doing the AI and doing all the background work for a project where the coin is worthless, right? They're not going to. So we're seeing a lot of projects fail. We're seeing a lot of projects that were the paramount, the apex, the greatest project, the headliner for the bull market, right? You look at C2Fi Fund. I mean, C2Fi Fund it's not looking too good. There are a lot of projects that are going to zero, and this is the reason why I said that it's important to preserve capital and not to put it in to projects, especially mid caps and small caps, during a bear market, because a lot of these projects are not going to come back, and they're not going to be here next bull market. So why am I going to risk capital that I need depth of bear market? And everything is a risk, right? So if I decide to do this and I'm wrong, and Bitcoin goes to all-time highs, well, that would just be too bad. At least I didn't lose, right? You could say I didn't make gains, but it's more important to preserve capital. So I am paying attention, and what's happening. We predicted like this was going to happen, And what's to come, I think, will be better opportunities in the future. And yes, it's possible that we do bounce here from 73K going back towards 80K, but I am not willing to risk it. I'm not willing to risk a significant amount of capital in a market that could potentially fall 30% in a short period of time. I'm not going to risk the capital, right? Because if this market does fall 30% in a small period of time, and I DCA down there, well, then, and I'm willing to wait 2 years, right? I'm willing to wait 2 years or until the market rebounds. Then I think I would get a really, really good entry and a less stressful entry where I could just relax and sit on my hands. So we're going to let everything play out, and I think that's what's going to happen. So that's the market update. Nothing much has changed except for the price of Bitcoin. But as far as how the pattern works, I think we're very, very close to a waterfall and a lot of red candles going down where day after day it's just another low. It's lower than the day before. All right. So if you're in a short position, taking a little bit of profit off the table right now is not a bad move because it could always bounce back up to the higher part of the range, right, to the 82, 83K. It's possible. And at least you've made profit. If you've gotten in on the short at 84K, you've made profit, right? So it might be a good idea to take a little off the table, leave the rest in, because if we do get a 30% drop, that's a lot more profit that you'll be able to use to buy at Bitcoin when Bitcoin hits 55K, if it does hit 55K, buying the altcoins at that point or DCAing into them. All right. So that's the market update. I'm on my way, and Bitcoin's on its way, and crypto is on its way, and we're in the right play. I will be concluding this really soon. Shout out to the Patreons. Do remember that when this waterfall happens, that I will be putting out buy alerts. I'll be putting out the buy alerts on the coins that I think are going to be the leaders, that are good risk reward candidates. None of this is financial advice, guys. That are good risk reward candidates heading into the bull market of 2027. I do believe that we are going to have the waterfall. I believe that we're going to get into a crisis situation in the West with this Strait of Hormuz thing, with Hanta virus, or with political unrest. Once people continue to feel the pressures of inflation and the job market and these kind of situations, it's going to be something, or maybe it's a combination of all of them, but it's going to create a crisis here in the West, and it's going to lead to a lot of turmoil, right? And it's also going to lead to money printing. So I think something devastating is going to happen that's going to justify the market crashing, and at that point we will be accumulating slowly and surely. All right, this has been Crypto.XL, and I will see you guys in the Patreon.